Good afternoon, everybody. Myself and Teresa are here from AGL to talk to you about a pilot that we ran last year over a 3-month period with 3,000 customers, and we just wanted to take you through it. So the pilot itself is around a service that we're calling Energy Insights. First of all, I just want to start off with what are the problems that we are trying to solve. So we know from our customers that there are 4 main problems that we wanted to look at. And I think a lot of them have been touched upon already as part of earlier statements made from previous speeches. So the first one is around bill comprehension. So we know that customers find our bills complex and difficult to understand and difficult to relate to. The second is around knowledge. So we know that customers want to find out more about appliances, but at the moment they don't understand how much different appliances use within their home. The second is around control. So customers we know want to save energy, but they actually just don't even know where to start. And the other is around perceived value. So we also know that energy is expensive and they have no real value to attribute that expense to. So the trial that we ran was basically around what you see on the right-hand side is a disaggregation report or an appliance category report that we're sending to customers. So what we're sending to customers is up to 11 different appliance categories between heating and cooling, hot water, fridge and freezer, always on. That's a personalized report for that particular customer. It's created based on smart meter data, so this will be for residential smart meter customers. So it'd be their smart meter data along with other inputs. So we've asked people in the trial to fill out a home profile to let us know what kind of appliances they have in their home, as well as other contextual information, so about weather patterns that would have happened over the course of that bill period. And we sent this report to them midway through their bill cycle and also a couple of days after they received their bill. We also, coupled with this report, gave them specific tips and insights related to the highest categories that they may have seen within their report in terms of how they can actually reduce their power within that area. We also gave them insights in terms of weather differences from the current period to the previous period, so whether it's a higher or lower temperature difference. And we also gave them similar home comparisons, so how did they compare to other customers within their same area. So what I'm going to do is hand over to Teresa, who will then explain or give you an idea of how our customers responded.
Yeah, but I want to be moving. Is it all right? What? Yeah, okay. Hi, I'm Teresa. So I'm an insight specialist, so I'm here to present the voice of the customer. So before we start, I'll just give you some context. So Chris has taken you through the customer problem that we're trying to solve here. But over the last 18 months, we've done multiple rounds of research. This is probably one of the most customer-driven initiatives in my 8 years in AGL. So they've been involved in every step along the way, from identifying the problem, developing the concept, and multiple rounds of iteration in terms of the design, customer experience, and process, and so on and so forth. So what I'm going to share with you is actually not just based on the pilot, because we've seen consistent results across all rounds of research. And some of them are in-home visits with the customer, some of them are survey, some of them are one-on-one interview. So the thing that I want to highlight that is the results are consistent. So we're really confident with the customer sentiment towards this particular initiative. So that's the customer verdict. Love is in the air. The music's not playing, but love is in the air everywhere you look. So I'm going to share with you some customer verbatim comments just to highlight the customer sentiment around this, because I think that's the most different feature about this initiative is that shift in the customer sentiment and their engagement with energy. As you have seen from the previous speeches in earlier session, especially the one from RMIT, energy is boring for customers. It's difficult to understand. It's not something they think about every day. It's not tangible. It's not like telco. It's not like banking. It's not like super. You can't touch it, and you can't tell if an hour of the lighting is different to an hour of watching TV. There's no way of gauging the magnitude and the impact it has on your bill. So what this does is changing that completely. So I'll leave you to I'll leave you to read the verbatim comments yourself, but I'll just highlight a few things that I really want to bring to your attention. The words that's highlighted in bold, they're very emotive words, and they're very positive emotive words that you normally don't see in customer research when it comes to energy. Normally, you hear them talking about price. That's the top of mind topic. It's expensive. The retailers are the bad guys, and it keeps going up. But here, it completely changes the conversation. All of a sudden, it's interesting, it's exciting, it's fascinating. And making reference to the earlier speakers about changing behavior, before you can change behavior, you have to make them care. At the moment, the only thing that's making them care is when it burns their pocket. And when it's difficult, they don't have the ability to take action, they don't know where to start. But all of a sudden, this is something that they can relate to. When you have them by category, oh, I can reflect back on, how I used the heating. It was cold. Yes, I've used a lot in that. But I have a young family to look after. I'm happy to for that cost because I can attach value to it. And you can see from the verbatim comments, there's also involvement of the family. It's no longer just a decision maker. So it's changing the whole dynamic in terms of how they engage with energy. So here I have some numbers to illustrate the magnitude of this sentiment. So one of the things I want to highlight is on the left-hand side, over 90% of the customer that's involved in any part of the 18-month period in any sort of research have found that energy insight to be useful. And the reason behind the usefulness of this particular product or service, however you would like to call it, is first of all transparency. So as Chris mentioned before, bills are difficult to understand. They don't want to understand what's kilowatt hours. They don't want to break down all the different cost components. At the end of the day, what does it mean? I just know this is too much. So transparency is important. And then the second one is about waste. And this is in customers' language. They've started to identify areas that they consider to be wasteful. So on the flip side of that, the parts that's not considered wasteful are the ones they deem valuable. So this is ticking one of our objectives. And the third major reason is energy saving opportunity. And that also highlighted that this is not only about identifying energy saving opportunity, it's about transparency. And it's up to the customer which are the areas that they want to address, if they want to address any at all. In terms of action, about 1/3 of the customer that we have surveyed have indicated that they have or will take action on the back of the Energy Insight report that they've received. So, but I guess the one thing that I want to highlight is even though the number is not, well, we would like that number to be higher than that initially, then we start to understand that even though they haven't decided to not take action on the back of the report, they now start to understand how the energy cost is broken down, and they have the choice to choose whether if they want to take action on that. And reflecting on the earlier speech, we want it to be affordable, but also we don't want people to compromise their lifestyle to the extent where it's uncomfortable for them. So that's an important area that I want to highlight. And this is consistent over the 3-month period that we've trialed this survey across customer group. So this level of engagement is ongoing. It's not just a nice, shiny toy that they get excited about at the start and then forget about the following month. So hopefully you share the excitement.